Okay, so in the last 2 days I've been working on the AI project, and it dawned on me that I wanted to try to put in an animated sprite character. So for really the last 36 hours, I've been doing that pretty diligently. This is what I've come up with. It's actually a couple of classes. One is an Animated Sprite Sheet, which does the bulk of the work. Had to actually create some structs for that, that I could do some operator overloading. That was just so, well, I'll show you. It's just so it made it much clearer when we get down into our update. For instance, here our current frame position X, sheet size and columns, it just makes it much easier to follow than doing current frame X is greater than sheet size X, and then you got to figure out this, that, and the other. This just worked good, better for me. So let's go back to our game one. You can see I've created a couple of classes here, the sprite clip and then the sprite character. Sprite character is really just a temporary class I created to make this showcase a little easier to follow. Basically, you just load in your sprite clips and you load them from a sprite sheet. I have actually just these 5 sheets here. I'll show you a couple of them. This is the idle, and this is the walk left. They're different sizes. They're both two-dimensional arrays basically, but they're of different sizes. So in the constructor, you set the columns and the rows for each one. You set the size of each cell, and you set the start and end frame and milliseconds per frame here. And then you create a sprite character, and this is a little iffy right now. I'm going to work on this later, but this one is set up where you can basically semi-hard code in these 5 animation clips and set the scale. The rest of the code is pretty simple. You just have an update and a draw. So if I run this one, you can see the character will move around the screen, right, down, left, and up, and when you let go, it's automatically rotated so that the idle animation is facing the correct direction. I have this one set at a scale of 0.5. If I bring this back up here, you can see what the original scale is. So these are fairly large sprite sheets. But it's very efficient though. I don't have any kind of lag. And you can see that idle much better when it's bigger there. Alright, so let's go to our next project. This is where I've integrated the project in with the AI project. It's got a lot of code here with the waypoints and the clips and the agents. And I've commented out most of it just so we can have a small demo here. But what we have here is I've brought in those sprite clips and the character, and I've actually disabled the environment for this demo. I've left in some obstacles that we can walk around. I've left in a player so we can chase it, and right now I haven't actually integrated the animated sprites with the agent code. So for now, the animated sprite is simply copying the position, rotation, and speed of an unseen agent texture. And then we just commented out most of the update code. And right here is where we're updating our sprite sheet using a special overload, which just tells us we're only going to render out one of the animations. In this case, we're going to render out just the walk up animation, and we're going to pass in the agent that we're going to be using to follow around so we can get its rotation and its speed values. And then we just simply draw our agents and our obstacles, and down here is where we have the single command to actually draw our animated sprite, just like in the other demo. So if I run this one, you can see that our character is walking around. He's going to avoid these obstacles. Now I can set the influence on that avoid void AS state, I can set that to a much lower weight, and it will actually glide around the obstacle instead of these quick left and right movements. But since I wanted to actually show it happening in a much faster scale, just left it alone. You can see that the animation speed is pretty good for the actual movement of the sprite across the screen. This can be adjusted pretty easily, and actually I'm very pleased with this so far. If I move this movable obstacle, let's see if he's going to walk near here again. I'm not controlling the simulation whatsoever except for moving that obstacle left and right. The agent is the animated sprite agent is following the green agent. The green agent is simply using a wander AI to go around the screen, and our animated sprite agent's just following it around. Now right now it's on a constant seek. Here I can actually affect that quite a bit. It really wants to go get that green agent, but I'm blocking it here with this obstacle. I'll let it go past. There we go. I can do it again. I can block it coming back until the direction is changed, and there we go.